President-elect Joe Biden is joining the calls for Congress to pass a coronavirus stimulus bill as the new jobs report shows the economy added the fewest number of jobs since April. Lawmakers have just weeks until key federal aid programs expire. As many as 12 million people are set to lose their unemployment benefits the day after Christmas. Eviction protections and a freeze on student loan payments disappear when the calendar turns to 2021. CBS News' Natalie Brand reports.
The latest jobs report indicates the pandemic recovery is slowing down, with fewer Americans finding new jobs last month.
Look at all the businesses that are being hurt so badly. No money to help them. Come Christmas time, there's going to be millions of people who see their unemployment run out. So there's a whole range of things that have to be done.
President-elect Joe Biden is calling on Congress to pass an emergency spending bill as soon as possible. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have resumed negotiations.
We have to do it in a way that recognizes people need food on the table. They need to get their rent paid. They need money in their pockets. They need their unemployment insurance.
Economists worry December's jobs report could be even worse as the coronavirus surge sets daily records. President-elect Biden announced Dr. Anthony Fauci will stay in his current role with expanded duties.
I asked him to be a chief medical advisor for me as well and be part of the COVID team.
Mr. Biden told CNN he'll call on all Americans to wear masks during his first 100 days in office. Amid rising cases, President Trump tweeted he's looking forward to holding a big campaign rally in Georgia on Saturday, where there are 2 Senate runoff races. Thursday, the president thanked his supporters.
The level of loyalty, I've never seen anything like it. All over the country, they know it was a fixed election. It was a rigged election. They know it, and I appreciate their support.
President-elect Biden is calling on President Trump to attend next month's inauguration to make clear that there has been a peaceful transfer of power.
And Natalie joins me now with more from the White House. Hi, Natalie. So last night, the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee announced that they have raised more than $207 million since Election Day. What is that money expected to be used for?
Well, Tanya, there's a lot of fine print if you actually go to the Trump campaign's donation website, and it states that 75% of donations under $5,000 go to President Trump's PAC, his Political Action Committee. So that could be laying the groundwork and funding for future political endeavors. We know that in these past fundraising emails regarding the recount, there's also been fine print and disclaimers talking about retiring campaign debt. So really, the donors out there should be reading all of the fine print. But interesting to note that the Trump campaign states in this latest email that the amount of money raised shows that President Trump remains the source of energy and leader of the Republican Party, according to the campaign.
And you know, switching gears, we heard in your piece that President-elect Biden is keeping Dr. Anthony Fauci on as his chief medical advisor. What more do we know about who could be joining his cabinet next?
Well, there was a transition team call a short time ago, and they confirmed that we can expect to learn more about the president-elect's health team, key members of his health team, early next week. We've seen this theme of rolling out nominees early in the week and then having a news conference to introduce them to the public. There's been a lot of names that have been floated out there, reports about, for instance, the governor of New Mexico or the governor of Rhode Island. But then some local reports have indicated that they will not be taking the job. There's also been some reporting this week about the former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, who's currently a co-chair of the president-elect's coronavirus advisory board. But again, we just won't know until they officially roll out the names or these names leak to the public, but with some official confirmation. We also know that there's been pushing by various groups, advocacy groups, and also lawmakers over on Capitol Hill who are pushing the Biden team to pick more diverse candidates for the top cabinet jobs. We've heard this week from Latino leaders and groups, and also from civil rights groups. And the president-elect said in his interview with CNN Thursday night that he would be meeting next week with the NAACP. So more to come on that topic and some of the other key positions that we are still watching for ahead of Christmas, when we are expecting to get more names. The defense secretary, of course, and the attorney general, Tanya.
Mm-hmm. Right. And Natalie, in an interview with CNN last night, Mr. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris were both asked whether their Justice Department would prosecute President Trump after Harris said the Justice Department would have, quote, no choice to do so during the primary. Let's listen.
Our Justice Department is going to operate independently on those issues, that how to respond to any of that. I'm not going to be telling them what they have to do and don't have to do. I'm not going to be saying go prosecute A, B, or C. I'm not going to be telling them. That's not the role. It's not my Justice Department. It's the people's Justice Department.
So where does that leave things, Natalie? I mean, President-elect Biden seemed to put the responsibility squarely in the hands of the Justice Department.
Yeah, and really stressing a message there of independence. And he wants to make that clear, especially coming following this administration, when there's been so much criticism and accusations of pressure being placed on the Justice Department and the Attorney General. So I think the president-elect wanted to make it clear that he will be operating trying to operate very independently and leaving it to his top officials within that department. But as you know, there's also a number of state and local investigations that remain in New York. And the New York Attorney General made clear that her investigations will continue. We also know that Manhattan's top prosecutor has a probe that's been ongoing. And we know that this does appear to be on President Trump's mind, because he referenced some of those New York investigations in that 46-minute Facebook video that he posted earlier this week.
Right. And so to the economy now, Natalie, in response to the monthly jobs report showing the economic recovery stalling, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce put out a statement saying, quote, the fire alarm is sounding on our economy. The only question is whether Congress will respond. Is there any reason to hope that Congress will actually get something done before they leave on holiday break?
Well, I think some of the headlines this week, between the new coronavirus surge and the jobs report released Friday, will put new pressure on lawmakers who this week, late into the week, did put forward some positive indications that negotiations have resumed. It also seemed to make a big impact that the president-elect got behind. It has expressed support for this more than $900 billion bipartisan deal that was unveiled earlier this week. So there's definitely the urgency there. And we are hearing, I'm hearing from past restaurant owners that I've talked to in the spring who say, you know, their Paycheck Protection Program funding has run out, and they're worried ahead of the holiday season about their employees and trying to make sure that they can keep them employed and keep their business afloat heading into some very uncertain times, especially as cities and states have to weigh placing new restrictions on businesses because we are seeing such a dramatic new surge. So this is serious, and the lawmakers are hearing these same stories in their home states and their jurisdictions. And again, to have the incoming administration, the president-elect, expressing support and trying to encourage the lawmakers to act on a stopgap measure, that seems to have made some impact this week.
All right, Natalie Brand at the White House, thank you so much.